Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Mike is here. Amy is here. Hi, Ames. How are you?
What up?
Not much. I can see your hat. Is that the same hat you had yesterday?
No, this is a different hat.
Different one. All
The
right.
other one yesterday was
Yeah,
more
I
of a
like it.
camel color. This one is
Yeah, I
silver.
was thinking, was she in black and white yesterday? And I just don't remember, because it was kind of the same style.
Yeah, totally same.
Ish.
Very
Yeah.
similar. Very similar.
Yeah. So I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe she was in black and white yesterday's episode. That's literally where my head went. Like,
You're like,
maybe
was I
she
wearing
wasn't in
black
color.
and
Yeah,
white?
she must have, obviously it couldn't be a second hat. She was obviously
Yeah,
in black and white the whole show
that
yesterday.
must
And
be it.
yeah, it was probably, it's nighttime there. So obviously it makes sense that
Yeah,
she was in black and white for some reason. So yeah,
clearly.
that's how it goes. No, beautiful. You look great.
Oh, thanks.
How was your day going?
Good.
Anything
Busy,
exciting?
but
Yeah.
good. No, I've been busy at work. A lot of meetings. Going to Florida tomorrow night to see my mom. So just got a lot
Yeah.
going
What time are you leaving?
Later, like 8 p.m. is my flight.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, maybe we can sneak something in early.
Yeah.
Unless you're too busy,
Yeah,
which
no,
is fine
that
too.
should work. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Lot going on. I don't know if I'm doing myself favors being on Twitter and just seeing the world. I've got some stuff on this Elon Musk story is really bothering me, but I'll save that for a little bit. It's just I can't. I don't recognize the world right now, and
Yeah.
it's really sad to me. Let's start with happier stuff. I'm wearing my Lions sweatshirt.
Yeah, I
I
see
am
that.
I am so missing football. Like I'm in that like
Yeah.
fallout, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks. Like my birthday always sucked because it meant going back to school.
Our birthday.
Our birthday, excuse me. Yeah, our birthday. Yeah, I always forget. We're birthday brother and sister.
Yes.
It always signified like the first week back at school. Like my brother's birthday is June 17th. It always was like the last week of school or first week of summer. It was awesome.
Yep.
And so looking forward to football season was always like, oh man, I know football season rules, but it also means going back to school.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. But I'm in that, lull right now where it's just like that football season last year went so fast. Like
I know.
It was like, okay, we're kicking off the football season. We got Thursday night game. I don't remember if the Lions were Thursday night, but either way, it was like opening of the season. And then I looked up, it's week 12, and then it's the start of the postseason. And then we're bounced, embarrassingly bounced by the Redskins.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's fucking over. I didn't care about the playoffs. I didn't care about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like all of it was such a bummer. And now it's like,
such a bummer.
Who's signing who? Who did you lose? Like you're trying to get up for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
I know.
I'm so grateful. This is like the first time in my life. Like I've got my Niners who have always I've always been a fan of, and my Lions. And my Lions were always kind of, as Jay called them, like they should be relegated to a different league. They don't belong in the NFL. And there's a good argument to be made for that for most of our lives, that it seemed like they were playing a different level of the sport as far as the rest of the league. My Niners have literally lost everybody. Like they are going to suck so bad. And it's like, oh, thank God my Lions are like legit. There's nothing worse than both your teams blow. There's nothing on earth worse.
Right.
Like
I know.
I've always had like, well, at least the Niners are competitive every year. That's just kind of what they are.
Yeah.
And, who knows? But the Lions, I'm just so excited to get going. And I guess the team submitted, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but teams submitted like propositions for rule changes.
What were they?
So fans are going nuts for the Lions. And they're like, yeah, what they said. We want that one. That's the rule change. The rest of the country is like, yes, the Lions are on fire. We want that.
Ooh,
and I'm like, well, so the Lions want a new rule for next year. So the league shared a memo today that detailed proposed rule changes from several teams. And this document showed the Lions want to eliminate automatic first downs as a penalty for defensive holding and illegal contact. So those types of infractions result in a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the offense, though the Lions hope they remove the latter part from the game. So that one when it's like 3rd and 17 and you get some ticky-tack 5-yard penalty, automatic first down. Like,
oh, fuck.
You know the one.
I know the one.
Where
You're
it's
just
like
screaming.
Screaming at the TV. Every time there's like a 3rd and forever and you're like, I just know there's going to be some bullshit.
Yeah.
Ticky-tack.
Same with PI. I wish they would do that the same as college. I hate that it's an automatic first down. I just wish it was spot of the foul.
I'm kind of with you on that one. I go back and forth on that one. There's a couple things in the NFL I've never understood. To me, like 1 foot inbounds should be a first down, like or inbounds. Like you caught a ball and you got a body part inbounds. Like what are we doing with this 2 feet need to be? Like it's just dumb. It doesn't apply for a knee. It doesn't apply for an elbow, but a foot. Like that's never really made sense to me. And I know we got toe drag swag bullshit. You know, I don't care about any of that.
You can still do those.
Yeah, you can still do them. You can still do it. They're not going to make those illegal.
Yeah.
But those ones I've never understood. The one, I figure if you were smart in this league, someone would just be like, okay, pass interference is so egregious.
Yeah.
This like, it's forever. Just huck it up there. Do it 50 times a game. Yeah. Just send guys on go routes and throw it up and pray for a pass interference flag.
Right.
Like,
you're going to get it probably most of the time. Like it's really crazy. Or wait, what is the rule in college? Is it 15 yards?
College is 15-yard penalty.
Okay. And NFL spot.
NFL is spot. Yeah. So NFL, it's like you just huck it 60 yards.
Yeah.
And there's some hand slapping. And, some guy cups your balls and they're like, oh, yeah. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a 70-yard penalty. And you're like,
right.
It's so, I'm with you. I don't know that they'll ever change that, but I figure some team is going to go, oh, that's the rule. Okay. Well, we're just going to air it out, go route style, that we're like a video game 50 times a game. And we're going to get 10 of them and we'll win.
What would be the negative? And now just spitballing here and maybe a little bit stony baloney, but just let's talk it through. What would be the downside of like putting a cap on the amount of yards that you can be penalized per penalty? Like you shouldn't be able to have a 70-yard penalty. Like what other instance other than pass interference are you getting more than 15 yards?
Well, the argument would be that, hey, we were about to connect on a 70-yard pass, except dipshit over here grabbed me. And so that you're every time there's a go route that you're beat on, just tackle the guy and it only costs you 15 yards.
Yeah.
I just don't see guys playing like that, but and I don't think it's a real problem in college football.
Yeah, it's not. In fact, when a pass interference happens in college, I'm like, okay, at least it's only 15 yards.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah. I do the same thing. It's like, okay, it's 15-yard penalty, no big deal.
Yeah, at least they're not in the end zone.
But the Lions' proposed rule, fans love it. Some people said, finally, the automatic first down is the biggest advantage defensive penalty. I've never understood why the offense gets 3 free new shots.
Yeah.
When it's more than 10 yards to get a first down, this penalty should just be enforced and replay the down. A lot of people, this better pass. So others suggest the change could allow defenses to get away with excessive contact on offensive opponents. So if like it's only a 5-yard penalty, not an automatic first down, just chuck the shit out of them to eat the 5 yards and play for another down. I just don't see that being a real problem either.
I mean, also you play football, so I mean, it's a physical sport.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it. What?
The Packers also proposed a rule. The Eagles as well. So the Packers want to ban the tush push.
Yeah. Knew that was coming.
they cited player safety. I don't remember a lot
That
of
is
guys being
so-
stretchered off the field during.
Yeah, like what? Player safety for the tush push?
Yeah. It's the same thing with the onside kick. Do you remember, a few years ago, all the ambulances that were coming on the field during an onside kick?
Yeah,
Because
no.
so many guys were getting
Lit up.
severely, like, I don't remember that. And you've basically ruined a really cool play in football.
Yeah.
And player safety, I mean, give me a break. If this is about player safety, you wouldn't even play this fucking game.
Exactly.
Like, that's the rule. Everybody knows what they're signing up for.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't,
That's why you get paid the money you do.
Yeah.
You know the risks you're taking.
Yeah. Is what
You
it
don't
is.
want to take the risk, sell real estate.
Yeah.
you know?
And there are some guys that went, you know what? It's too much. I'm out. And bailed on their careers. They bailed. Guys have done that more and more. But for people that are really good and excel at that and want to, I don't know. I agree with player safety and all that kind of stuff clearly, but you got to play the game too.
For sure.
You can do what you can to help, but the onside kick wasn't the problem in my opinion. But so they've ruined that one. How do you feel about the tush push?
Tush push doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Never bothered
it's a
Troy.
play.
Troy and I used to argue about it.
Yeah. You don't like it?
I fucking hate it as a play. It just seems like there's no but I also understand that, well, if you don't like it, stop it. Devise a way to stop.
Yeah.
It is what it is. There's nothing preventing you from doing it. It's just a dumb play overall. And it's like it takes away all those 3rd and inches, 4th and inches, 3rd a yard, 3rd and 2. Now they're doing it 2 yards back.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do about that.
I mean, it's just a rushing play. What's the difference? Why is it any more dangerous than the running back getting the ball and running head on into these people?
The Packers don't feel like it's dangerous for real. They just don't like that they can't stop it.
It did reach ridiculous levels for me, and I think we talked about it, but I can't remember the playoff game, but they were like, oh, I think it was the Redskins and the Eagles. Yeah, it was the Redskins and the Eagles. And they're like, if you one more penalty and we're just giving them the touchdown. Because they kept, it's like, wait.
So ridiculous. So dumb. Yeah, that one was so dumb.
But
so the Eagles wanted to change the regular season overtime rules to allow both teams to possess the ball, which is how the postseason.
That's not a rule.
Yeah. A lot of these rules are made to speed up the game, but I don't think anybody has a problem with the speed of the game in football. Like, that's a baseball thing. It's a golf thing, for sure. I get that. But
and
football,
I also think if you were to poll 100 people and ask them, would you rather your team end in a tie or watch 10 more minutes of football? I think people would choose the 10 more minutes of football. Like, we should not be having games ending in ties.
Yeah, I that's kind of how I feel. Soccer, I have no problem. You want to end soccer in a tie? Who gives a shit?
That's one of the reasons soccer is so stupid.
Yeah. Boring to watch. Boring.
Oh, it ended in a 0-0 tie. 0-0.
Cool. Yeah,
that sounds like a fun fucking game.
But in football, I don't know the person, and maybe that person exists. I don't know the person that's like, oh my God, I love everything about this game. It was just a half hour too long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone that has ever said that. Like, I finally had to give up on football. It was just too slow and boring.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I have said man, that was a long fucking game. But I mean, I enjoyed it. It's just more of like a comment of that it was long. It's not like I'm saying like, gee, I wish they could have found a way to make that game shorter. It was just more of like that played out and it was a long game,
Yeah. I wish they were longer. I love it. When you get into that, it seems like the fourth quarter is here immediately. And it's like, oh God, there's only 2 minutes left. The time, it is what it is. It never has bothered me. The Lions also proposed this one. Detroit wants the postseason seeding rules to allow wild card teams to be seeded higher than division winners if they have a better record. So currently, all 4 division winners get a home game, and you inevitably get that, 8-8 team, 8-9 team that won their garbage division and they're hosting a playoff game.
Yeah.
It almost happened, or it did happen. Was it
Yeah.
last year with the Vikings and the
Vikings? Yeah. If we
Vikings
wouldn't have
and
won
Lions?
that game, we would have had to go on the road with like the second best record in the NFL.
Totally. I have always hated this. Like, oh, well, you don't like it, win your division. The fact of the matter is, in this league, it happens all the time, where you get teams from the same division that are just the two best teams in football.
Right.
They just are. Yeah. And it used to happen with the Niners and Cowboys in the NFC back when I was a kid, all the time. And it was like, one's the 1 seed and one's a 6 seed, or whatever. Yeah. It happens in division. I guess that's a bad example, but in division, it happens where you get two teams out of a division that are clear runaway best teams in a conference. And the Vikings got fucked last year on that.
Yeah. And the Lions are probably looking at their conference in the foreseeable future going, this is going to become a problem for our conference because we're about to be good. And we're probably, next, it could be us getting screwed over anytime. So, might as well propose it now and see if we can get it fixed.
Yeah, I've never kind of understood it. It's like everybody knows who the best teams are.
Yeah.
You look at them like
teams
it's
with the best records.
Yeah, and it's like those teams, that's kind of what you earn by winning that. It's like, we can't help it that your division absolutely sucks.
Right.
And now the Saints and the Falcons with 6 wins. Yeah. Tampa Bay has been fortunate with this kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, now we've got a road game in Tampa, a fucking 7-win team. Give me a break.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that one. This one, this is not proposed. This is one I would propose. If because they've done this now where a guy's not down, and so 4 linemen can carry him 80 yards, 20 yards downfield. Oh my God, he's still going. It's like, his feet aren't even on the ground.
It is funny when that happens.
It's hilarious, and we can act like, oh yeah, they're never quit, never give up.
Yeah.
I feel the same. I've always wondered, like, okay, well, if I form tackle you and come underneath and pick your ass up, why I should be able to run you backwards 15 yards then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
This forward progress bullshit where it's like, oh yeah, he got an inch, and then but he lost 3 yards.
Yeah, right.
Like, if I want to form tackle a guy, pick him up and drop him 4 yards back, I should get those 4 yards. If you're going to do this, we can carry a running back 12 yards downfield.
Yeah.
Then I should be able to carry your ass backwards downfield.
I don't mind that.
Yeah. That's just my thought.
Write it in. Write a letter.
It is preseason, spring baseball. I've got to go to some games around here.
Yeah.
I think the Tigers are going to be in town.
Oh,
I hope I didn't just miss it, but I think the Tigers have a weekend coming up here in Scottsdale.
Nice. Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Their season starts in a few weeks. And I think there's a couple teams are playing over in Japan right now, or Korea.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think they're playing in Japan. The Dodgers are playing in Japan right now. But Mike, the Pistons have made the playoffs officially.
Have they really?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, now I can start watching.
Which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. They did something and went on a tear, didn't they? I know the Wings got a new coach and then kind of went on a tear. I don't know what they're doing. I know they had a couple injuries at center,
I think the Pistons won like 9 games last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the worst.
Yeah.
And so to be in the playoffs is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's cool. When do the playoffs start? I've paid no attention.
Honestly, I don't know. They usually start, I don't know, probably in like April. Well, the finals are usually at the beginning of June.
Yeah.
So the playoffs probably start in April.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll start paying attention.
Yep.
I love them when they're good. It's
always fun when your teams are good,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So. You're gonna be a mom at someday, aren't you? Isn't that the plan?
God willing.
Isn't that the goal?
Yeah, it is.
The hope. You'd be a good mom.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that. I was reading this story out of from this New Jersey mom. She's going to have a kid any day now. Her name's Lily Mingle,
Okay.
and set to give birth to her 4th kid. I hope
Oh.
that's all. That's enough, right? You have 4 of those fucking things running around.
Jeez.
Planning to deliver at Inspira Health Network Hospital, as she did for the first 3 kids. During a recent routine hospital visit, she received her 3rd trimester folder, expecting the usual documents and information given to expectant mothers in preparation for labor. And I have the one of the forms that was given to the mom. I was going to get your opinion on it. They've got a questionnaire here at Inspira Health. Our mission is to provide a safe and compassionate experience that improves the health and well-being of our community by placing the safety of our patients and the support of employees at the center of all we do, blah, blah, blah. Please complete this questionnaire and return it to staff member performing your registration. And so they've got the patient name, newborn. They want to know what the newborn's name is, the newborn date of birth, which I think they should probably know that already. I don't know why you need to ask the fucking mom who just shit it out. You know what I mean? Like, weren't you in the room? What's today's date? Why are you bothering me with this shit? But whatever. What sex was your baby assigned at birth? And so they give you female, male, or prefer not to answer. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Do you, this is the next question on their questionnaire. Do you identify your baby as female, male, transgender female, trans woman, male to female, or trans male, trans man, female to male, or there's a 5th option, gender queer, neither exclusively male nor female.
Oh my God.
The 6th option for new moms who just gave birth, additional gender category / self-described, please specify. Or you could prefer not to answer.
Oh my God. This is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
What? There's another question. We're not quite done yet, Mom. I know you're in pain. Don't worry. But the last one is, which of the following best describes your baby? Their words, not mine. Lesbian or gay?
No, Mike. No, Mike. You are lying.
I'm not lying. Straight or heterosexual? Again, which of the following best describes your baby? Lesbian or gay? Straight or heterosexual? Bisexual? You could also pick number 4, self-describes. Please specify. Or option 5 for best describing your baby, questioning / unsure, or prefer not to answer.
I'm speechless.
What would you do if you were in, and that was the question? They were like, oh, Rocky, we're going to need you and Ames to fill this out. Dude, that, like.
Oh my God.
In case you're thinking I made that up.
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. The only acceptable way that this could happen is if they're using this, which I know this is not the case, but if they're using this as some kind of screening method to like,
yeah, who do we gotta keep an eye on?
Yeah, exactly. Who do we have to put on a watch list? That's the only way that this is acceptable. Yeah. Other than that, that is the craziest. I mean, you are just admitting at that point that it is a social contagion. It's right. It is not anything that has to do with how the person is born or how they identify.
Yeah. I wrote Munchausen by proxy. I don't know.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know if that's the proper category for that. That's like someone. Yeah, right. Like your mental illness is being projected onto this little human being. I mean, when you're talking about
so this is a Munchausen's test. It's a Munchausen's by proxy screening test is what I'm getting from this.
It's totally not. But yeah, wouldn't that be cool though? If it was, if it was like, no, it's our way of screening for absolutely batshit human beings who were about to take a life home with them. Things have gotten so insane.
Yes.
We need their help in self-identifying the nut jobs so we can keep an eye on them.
Like, it's not a bad idea.
It's totally not a bad idea because they wouldn't be able to help it. They wouldn't
Right.
be able to help it. They would have to be
Right.
like, yeah, my 1-day-old is lesbian, identifies as non-gender conforming. Like,
Yeah. Okay. You're on the
holy
watch list
shit.
then.
So, it's deeply twisted and evil. This mom, who again has been here 3 times before to deliver babies, and this is the questionnaire she got on her 4th time. Who was even sitting around wondering such a thing? Why did my tax dollars pay them to write this? And why is it now state law that I give an answer? Why are freshly postpartum moms being pushed to comply? So she works as a birth doula. I don't know what
I bet she's super hating this then.
She's supporting expectant mothers through pregnancy, labor, and the birth process. Having worked with numerous moms through her line of work over the years, she took to her doula business. That's why we know about this. So she put this out like, anyone else get this absolute insane questionnaire from their hospital? And she posted it on Instagram and some others. Of the moms at the Inspira hospitals in the past year, 68% of them got this questionnaire. 32% said they did not. Moms who delivered at other hospitals were less familiar. Only 20% of them got this fucking questionnaire.
Matt Walsh is going to have that hospital shut down in by tomorrow.
Right?
As soon as he gets wind of this.
Yeah, he will get wind of this. I'm certain of it. Parents Stephen Madison and Stephen Morrow had a similar experience hours after their daughter's birth. Stephen was asked to complete the questionnaire about his daughter's sexual orientation and gender identity. Instead, they refused and asked the nurse to file a complaint on their behalf. We were appalled to receive this form. The very intention of this form is to sexualize a child. Under the guise of inclusivity, this document directs sexual preference questions at newborns. So they acknowledge they what they were saying in further comments was they felt bad for the nurses because a lot of the nurses were kind of rolling their eyes like,
yeah, they didn't come up with this.
This is coming from up above. Don't think we're stupid enough to ask if your fucking newborn is a homosexual yet.
Right.
Yeah, Cliff, the only answer to that crap is go fuck yourself. Yeah, I'm with you. In fact, they are told by higher ups what is mandatory, and unfortunately, they do not have a voice to oppose. Then quit.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, it's to the point when you go, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game when we're talking about stuff like this. No. I'm not going to be part of this. I'll go work at another hospital. I can use my the training I've received, the medical degree I have, whatever background. There are thousands of places I can go use that employment. And nurses,
and I think about from the business side of things, when you work in a large company and you want to get something done, it takes a lot of steps to get it done, and it goes in front of a lot of eyes at first. And
what do you mean?
And it has to be approved by a lot of different departments and a lot of different people before official communications or, documents are updated. Like legal has to look at it and marketing has to look at it and so has to approve it. And a million eyes are on this thing. It's not like some rogue employee is like, I'm going to update the survey. This has to go through like a lot of vetting when you're within a large company like that. And the fact that not a single person that laid eyes on that document was like, hang on a second. Yeah. This is weird. We're not doing this is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
Because if that came across my desk, I would die on that hill. I would die on that hill, and I would never approve it, ever.
The amount of people that just go along to get along, it's like, oh, God, these fucking clowns. Seriously, whatever. Yeah. I got better shit to do with my day.
Yeah.
But it keeps getting further down the road, and at some point, you got to, like, they've made it clear there is no final boss. Right? There is no like, we finally made it. We finally made it. Everyone's equal. We're good. Yeah. Like that doesn't exist. Yeah. I was watching videos yesterday. I saw some butch ass lesbian on Twitter, and she was furious. She was,
Yeah.
she goes, and she was talking about like, we fought so hard to get lesbian, gay, bi, LGB rights.
Mhm.
And you motherfuckers with this whack job shit. She's like, at this point, you guys have gone so insane with this stuff that
Mhm.
there's talk of like, what do we do with gay marriage? Like they're talking about kicking
Mhm.
it to the States, like if it got to
Mhm.
that kind of thing. Like the fact that they're even having that discussion is directly because of you nut jobs and what
100%.
you're putting through people through.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They should kick the T out of the LGB.
yeah. And believe me, I have gotten messages from T's that are like, hey man, not all of us feel this way. In
For
fact,
sure.
they're making it way fucking too hard
100%.
for the rest of us to just be safe out there by pulling this kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of T's that feel held hostage by this kind of behavior. But it's never going to be good enough. That like the fact that this is on an administrative form at a hospital should tell you everything.
It's crazy.
Like
that is so crazy.
Yeah.
I would lose my shit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but I'm glad the discussion is happening. I know people get frustrated with me, like, oh, how many days since Mike's done a trans? But like, dude, I can't not. I'm sorry. Like, this is insane.
It's a big problem.
It is. It is.
Because it's not just like, imagine putting that on your child before they're even they've even had a thought. You are giving your child this life of difficulty.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
They're not choosing it. This is no long. What other disease would we say, let's give this to them when they're born?
Yeah.
Other than a mental disease. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. It's madness. And I see it on small, innocent levels with just how much influence you have on these little humans when they're coming up. I call them the dumbest people on earth. No matter how smart they are, they're the dumbest people on earth. But like, I'd never run into this before, where I'm talking to Marshall and I'm like, and we're at a restaurant. He wanted a root beer. It's only soda he can have because it doesn't have caffeine in it, I guess. Yeah. So his mom will allow him to occasionally have a root beer. And then it's like, what brand of root beer do you have? And whatever it is, Barks or whatever. He's like, oh no, that one's terrible. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, and it dawns on me, his mom doesn't like A&W or Barks, one of them.
Right.
And she's like, gross, forget it. I don't want it. It's Barks. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Like, so people do with Pepsi and Coke. They have their thing.
Yep.
But there's not a child on fucking earth who would be like, no, I can't drink Barks. I can only drink A&W.
Right.
Like, a child.
A child does not care.
No, it's a can of sugar or, like that's all that is.
Right. It's a special drink.
Right. I don't believe his taste. So it's like, in that context, you need to be aware, like the things we say in front of kids, they're picking up and they're going with, which is why you're seeing this push where these absolute radical monsters are raising kids. And it's like, of course you have 3 kids and 2 of them are trans and one of them's non-binary. Like, of course.
Yeah.
Like, it seems so criminal at this point.
It is.
That this is going on. And, Matt Walsh he probably gets death threats every day for reasonable, rational debates about this topic. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And when people are like, why are you even talking about this? It's only one person. It's like, yeah, because that's the kind of surveys expectant mothers are getting in their fucking hospitals. Like,
right. And if you don't nip it in the bud now,
right.
I mean, at some point you have to just say enough's enough at some point.
Right.
Because there were times when nobody was saying anything. And now look where the fuck we are. We're filling out these bullshit surveys when we're having kids.
And
ignoring
most people
science.
We're trying to be polite. Like, I don't need to like, Janet down the street, she doesn't know what gender her baby is. Like, and you just tried to be nice and like, well, that'll never spark and
Yeah.
catch on to be
Yeah.
anything. And
Right.
it's like, it gets to the point where someone needs to put their foot down and be like, no, this isn't where we indoctrinate children in the classroom. And now you need an executive order to deal with it.
Right,
Because it
right.
was, you didn't just fucking, nip this kind of thing in the bud. It sucks that it's come to that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
speaking of schools, I haven't done many Toy stories of late.
No.
I feel like they had to have extenuating circumstances. Like, okay.
Yeah, because they were getting so regular.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like every single day there was
Right.
a Toy Story.
My criteria went beyond like, oh, she's hot and she banged a male student. Cool.
Yeah.
Like step up your game, teachers. Like,
It
what
had
are
to
you
be
doing?
like a threesome or
Right.
right. Something.
Yeah,
like that.
next level shit. How many
Yeah.
drugs did you ply these boys with?
Yeah, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you get knocked up?
Right. And even just knocked up, I don't expect youngsters to have strong pullout games. I just don't. So the fact that these broads get knocked up, it's like, yeah, whatever. I've seen it. I've heard it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wow me. I've seen this movie too many times.
Yeah.
Well, we got one now today. That's kind of up in the game, and I'm proud of her.
Okay.
She's in trouble. One of these moms got all tattly about this, took issue.
He told one too many friends.
Yeah, he gave one too many high fives, came
One
home
too
with a
many
swollen
high
hand.
fives.
His palm was bruised to shit. And his mom was like, all right, are you beating off at school? What's going on? And he finally
had to tell her.
Spilled the beans, and then mom got all fucking mom about it and ratted her out.
Yep.
So there's a few interesting details in this one. This teacher asked 3 underage boys to gangbang her and ordered them to wear scream masks while doing it.
Oh, no.
I mean, come on. Like, if your goal is to make the papers one day.
Oh, my God.
Right?
What?
Yeah, Brittany Fortenberry, she's 31, is facing dozens of charges over the allegations made by her friend's son and other accusers. Victims have claimed the teacher raped at least 10 underage boys. I mean, so she's putting up Hall of Fame numbers. I mean,
they're just like passing her number around. Like, hey, Mrs. Finkelberry or whatever the fuck her name is. What's her name?
Yeah, Teacher Dingleberry is Fortenberry.
Fortenberry, okay.
Brittany Fortenberry. Yeah, I think I was talking to you, texting with you the other day about this stuff where it's like, as far as my world was concerned, I wasn't sure my teachers had first names. Like, I didn't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, literally didn't know, didn't care. And these guys are having fucking gangbangs with scream masks on.
They just slid into her DMs. It's
got to be that, right?
100%.
I mean, this chick was just begging to be outed, though. She was so she was charged with sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy, sending explicit messages, pictures, and videos to other kids at Eminence High School in Martinsville. What did I say that was? Indiana. Now, 5 more victims have emerged, resulting in a slew of additional accounts being recommended against her and her husband, Nick Fortenberry.
Oh, yikes.
Old Nick was aware of it.
Oh, Nick knew?
Yeah, he was. Oh, my God. I'm getting a call from someone that we were talking about earlier off the air.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyways, so 5 more victims have come forward, and Nick was aware of this. So he was just a cuck in chief, like watching toddlers bang his wife.
Dude, that's fucked up.
Yeah, these ones I don't get. That just want to sit in the corner.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Fortenberry's friend told Detective Sergeant Patrick Williams how her son had been groomed. She detailed how Ms. Fortenberry allegedly showered her son in expensive football gifts, tried to message him repeatedly on Snapchat until the boy's mom told him to block her.
Oh.
Her suspicions were roused after details emerged of the charges against Fortenberry stemming from her time in Eminence High. And then she's like, yeah, you went to that school too. You had that teacher. Any chance? And he's like, you got me. Yeah, I nailed her. So that prompted the mom to ask her son outright if anything happened. He began to cry and told her that Fortenberry had bombarded him with explicit videos of herself and provided him with drugs and what he suspected was alcohol.
I need to
He
see.
wasn't
I need
sure.
photos. I need to see what she looks like and what these kids look like.
Well, I don't have photos of her. You can Google her real quick. There are some details with that. Like in some of the images, it's like, Fortenberry, not bad. But hold on. The mom, why would you say he began to cry and blah, blah, blah? Like, wouldn't you leave that detail out? Why do you need to out? Like your son got a shit eating, he got fucking hand in the cookie jar grin on his face, or
right.
He tried to knuckle bump me, which I thought was disgusting. But he began to cry. Why would you throw that in the story? I'd be like, thanks, Ma. Thanks for telling everybody I started crying. So Fortenberry sounds like a champ, by the way.
Yeah. I reckon Fortenberry's made some porn in her life.
Well,
if I had to guess.
she would always make him food, buy him anything he wanted, including vapes, weed, and cartridges. I mean, this is like a home run for this kid.
Yeah.
So several instances,
and we're supposed to believe that he's crying about it now, please.
Yeah, devastated. These guys are, they're victims, obviously. She plied him and his friends with mushroom pills and then encouraged them to touch her sexually. Brittany would peer pressure them if they didn't want to take shrooms. She would grab their arm and say, just let it happen. What are mushroom pills? I don't think I've ever taken those. I have taken it in chocolate, I guess.
They sound like.
Yeah.
No, they're
nothing crazy. I mean,
in a capsule.
Yeah, so they don't taste like shit.
Yeah.
Brittany would put shrooms on peanut butter sandwiches for them so they couldn't taste them. There was one occasion where Fortenberry picked him and two friends up, took them to the mall, called their parents to ask if they could come spend the night. Once there, the then 13-year-old alleged Fortenberry ordered him and his two friends to have group sex. Hold on, back up a second on this story. Do you know how fucking insane that would be if at 13, my teacher called my mom and said, yeah, I'm just going to have your son and his buddies spend the night at my house tonight.
Insane.
They just skipped through that sentence and on to the next one here. And I'm like, hold on. I mean, at this point, mom's almost a co-conspirator. Like,
I was just about to say.
I mean, I don't think there's a situation where my mom.
Literally none, unless both parents have died in a horrible accident and the kid is wandering the street in the middle of the night. That's like the only situation.
Would it be appropriate for a teacher to say, like for you, for instance, with your, what is the club girls you teach? Is it Palms or dance?
Team.
To say, hey, I'm having an all-night party for the girls on the team, and they're all gonna.
That would be, I think, normal.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's also it's less weird when it's the same sex for sure. I actually went to Hawaii with one of my teachers.
What?
In high school. It was not a male teacher. It was a female teacher. And she was super young and she was also one of my coaches. And one of the girls that was on our team went to the University of Hawaii and she was going out to Hawaii and I was like, I want to go and visit Amanda. So we just like went together.
Oh my God. How old were you?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
17.
I remember I had one teacher, Mr. Green. I've told stories about him at Tyler Elementary School. He was the one that when we were going to have sex ed in 5th grade, the 6th graders told us that Mr. Green and the
Oh, yes.
pretty hot teacher, I just assumed they were going to get it on in front of the class, and that was sex ed. And so we were going to see Mr. Green, who was tall and skinny, probably had a huge dong, and was going to bang, what's her name, Mrs. And looking back, it's like, yeah, she was probably pretty hot for back then. She was well put together.
Yeah.
6th grade teacher. That's not what happened, by the way. That we didn't get anywhere close to that. Like, literally, I had visions of him like laying her down on one of the desks or his desk. He's also the one that got so mad at us, he flipped the desk in class.
Nice.
But the closest I can think of outside of like high school soccer, like me and Jay and my brother, like the whole team, I remember having a tournament up north, and it was like we were in like cabins, like all of us bunkied together in cabins on a road trip.
Yeah.
I remember that. There was one teacher, Mr. Green, who if you were like outstanding student, like got all A's on your homework or whatever.
Take you to McDonald's.
Yes, took us to McDonald's. And it was me and another student. And I remember being like, this is so fucked up that I'm at lunch with this teacher. It was like,
I'm in this teacher's car.
Yeah, and it's exactly teacher's car, probably some fucking Dodge Dart or some piece of shit. And we're driving to McDonald's, and it's like, I didn't eat a bite of any of it. It was like, no, none of this made me comfortable. And he was totally fine. He would never
100%.
hurt a kid, touch a kid, but it was just like, ooh, I'm like fucking 11.
Yeah, because teachers just weren't like real life, right?
No.
And I mean, my mom was an assistant principal, and when I used to go to her school, her middle school, people would be like, "Oh my God, you're Mrs. Wright's daughter? Mrs. Wright has a daughter? What's it like being Mrs. Wright's daughter? Like, what's it like having an assistant principal?" Just could not comprehend that like Mrs. Wright would also have a kid that was in middle school. Yeah,
as a human being.
Right.
It was what they're saying, like, whoa, our assistant principal's an actual human?
Right.
Dude, it's embarrassing, but it's taken me a long time, and I still don't fully have my head wrapped around it, that my mom is an actual human woman.
Yeah.
Like, that she's anything more than my mom.
Right.
Like, what do you mean you're sad? What do you mean you're angry about something? Like, your mom. You don't get to have human feelings. Like,
right. You're a robot. You're my mom.
You're my mom. You don't get to have. You're totally a robot. Like, you're the one that
you just figure it out.
You figured out, and you're not allowed to have like a tough day. Like, it's like, what do you mean you and dad have an anniversary? That's disgusting. I don't want to hear anything about it. Like, I'm just awful. I've gotten better now. But that's just kind of how it was. It was like, so,
this chick, Mike, and I like to go by Drew's rule of you should see all women in their mugshot to get
I love that one.
A real true,
or when they're crying.
Yes. Which is often in their mugshot. Usually you get both. And hey,
you do get a twofer.
I'm here to tell you, some days when you join this show, I look like I would look in a mugshot. So I am not here to judge anybody, because I realize that makeup and filters can make you look a whole lot better. That being said, this looks like two different people.
Yeah. Do you have a picture over there?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen really quick.
Okay. Well, this boy also claimed that Fortenberry told him, see, there she looks bangable, right, for a gangbang? Like, this isn't a romantic thing. This isn't a love thing. This is just like stick it in thing.
For it, and your teacher.
Right.
Like, that gives you an extra couple points, I think.
Right.
But the husband is exactly what you would think he would look like.
Really? Okay. I have not seen the husband yet. So is he fat with a beard?
No.
Or is he tall and skinny?
He's got a mustache.
Oh, like a porn stash? Oh, yeah. Is he a cop? Is that her?
No. Yes.
See? Yeah. The story takes a little bit of a turn. The husband would warn people. Like, she would tell them to wait until you're 16. Don't talk to anybody about this, and I will kill you in front of your parents if you do. Which is fair. You don't want that getting out. You know? Oh,
No.
Nick. What was his name? Nick. Oh, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Is he a cop? What is he? A security guard?
I can't tell if this is. Yeah.
Here's where this story.
His last name on it.
Yeah, Nicholas Fortenberry. Yeah, that doesn't look like a real cop outfit. You know,
no,
I mean,
it could doesn't.
Be. It looks like he's a mall security guard or something. More than an official cop.
Like he looks he's dressed up for Halloween.
This I thought was interesting. And I don't know if there's something to this, but following her right there, that girl's arrest, she told them she regretted losing 150 pounds and would have acted differently if she was still a fat chick. So you've got a situation here where nobody looked at the teacher at all. 150 pounds on a woman, that's a shitload of weight.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
What do you peg her weight at here?
In this picture?
In that picture. Yeah. I mean, judging by those arms, is she in the buck 60, 70 category? 50?
More than that. More than that. I would say 180 maybe.
Okay. Really?
If I had to guess. Yeah. I'm just going based off of what I know I weigh. And so in my mind, I don't look that fat.
That can be deceiving. Because I've been with girls that are 120 and I've seen them on the scale and you go, what? I would have, and ones that are heavier, 150.
I mean, in that
and you go,
picture, she looks like.
Dude, 150 pounds is another human being. Like 150 pounds is like normal weight of a female. I know, obviously, height. So Mr. Doug says 200. In that pic, dude, I'm 199 probably right now.
Well,
198.
Mike, I mean,
like, but I'm probably a lot taller than her.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I mean, as a woman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't know where the rest of this picture goes. She's keeping it up top. She's holding it away. She's got her chin up. So that thing could fall apart downstairs.
Yeah. Oh, this was somebody telling you about the mushrooms.
Okay, you grind up mushrooms in a coffee grinder, stuff them into capsules. Health food store. They make taking gin guy. So
Fun
much more.
guy.
Oh, fun guy? Is that what that's supposed to be?
That's what he corrected it. But yeah, that's how you take mushroom pills.
So I think what you have here with this chick, because I did see one picture, I was like, oof, those poor boys. So she lost $150. So she literally went from, nobody's looking at
nobody.
Her. You're a 300 pound, and if she says. She probably lost every bit of 150 pounds, which puts her, if you lose 150 and you're currently somewhere between 180 and 200, I mean, you're talking about a 300 and something pound woman waddling about those school halls. And all of a sudden, for the first time in your life. Ozempic, she's stomach stapled. I mean, you're out of Ozempic league at that point.
Yeah.
And she's trying to look hot in those photos. I don't blame her. Everybody wants to. She was probably a fat chick her whole life. 100%. And she couldn't handle it. She couldn't handle on any level the responsibility that comes with having people turn their head and look at you.
It's it's a burden. It's a burden.
It is. Dude, it is. It like there is something to it. And I think girls are full of shit when they're like, I wish guys would just keep your eyes up here and keep looking for like bullshit. Nobody wants to be assaulted. We can all agree with that. Nobody wants to be in any way harassed. But everybody likes a little attention. Like,
For sure.
goddamn. Like,
yeah.
we do. We
Yeah.
do. It feeds
I've reached the
all
point
of
of
us.
my life where it makes my day. And that's my
Yeah.
response that I give to people. I'm like, oh my God, you just made my day. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like offended by it. You'd be like, oh,
No.
I guess I put myself together well today.
Yeah.
Yay me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want that. Dude, I've talked about it. Like at my age now and looking the way I do, and when I say nobody, I mean fucking
Mike.
nobody looks at me. If I go to a restaurant by myself, not a waitress, not a customer, dude, I didn't realize. This is what I've taken from it. I didn't realize how many people make eye contact with you and like just give you a look like it's just kind of an inviting, like if you wanted to say hi, you could.
Yeah.
Look, like it doesn't mean you act on it, but you notice people notice you from around the room. I guarantee you notice it. Here's how you would notice, Amy. You would notice when nobody ever did it again.
For sure.
That's when you would know. And that's what I notice now.
Yeah.
Like no one here, like I don't get passing glances like, maybe in a different time.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're an old fucking gross man now. Like no one cares. Dude, my 20s, 30s, it was just like walk into a bar, leave with one. Whatever.
Yeah, right.
No big deal. I thought that's just how it was for everybody.
Yeah.
So putting this in that context, that girl, 150 pounds, is another full-size adult human being.
Yeah.
She shed. And then just got her fuck on.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel bad. I think that matters when you're going in front of a jury. I think if I was the defense, like the scream mass gangbang thing is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get past that. Like, holy shit, you went so off the deep end, supplying them with scream masks and making them get like, that's hard. But if you really lay into a jury, hope to get a lot of women on the jury and be like, I dumped 150 pounds and I started getting my groove on. Stella got her groove
Stella got her groove back.
Fortenberry got her groove back.
Fortenberry got her groove back.
I went a little crazy, I admit now.
Yeah. The kids will be fine.
The boys will be totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this was, a guy and girls
some
being groomed,
fat dude who lost, a few pounds and he's huffing and puffing on top of some young teenager, that's super disturbing. But I don't know.
Buried under the prison.
With your hot teacher. I don't know. They'll be fine.
No, these boys will be just fine. Trust me. They've got a story for
life.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Look, I know it sounds
That'll
terrible.
be their fun fact when they're, going through life. Like, or tell me 2 truths and a lie. That's a big popular one when you're at, events. And they'll probably tell that and people will think that that's the lie.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to grow up and they're going to have kids of their own and their boys are going to ask them questions and treat them like they're not humans. Like they were never cool in their day. They never did anything exciting. They're just dad. They're dad. They're the guy that pays the bills. They're the guy that goes to work all day and then is grumpy when he comes home. Like, and he's going to be able to kick back with a cigar at one point and be like, bitch, I fucking gangbanged one of my teachers with a scream mask on. You think you're the only one that's lived a little bit? Fuck out of here, dude.
Mike, if that were you, you'd be sitting at a restaurant alone. No one's making eye contact. And the waitress walks up and you're like, I'll have you know. I gangbanged my teacher. Okay? So you keep going on and not acknowledging me. I just want you to know that.
And she was nice enough to provide. So when they immediately go, Pixar, it didn't happen. You're like, bitch, I got videos. Boom. That's me in the middle fucking right there. That's me in scream mask position too. Okay?
Oh my God. That is
totally. Because those guys are going to grow up and they're going to be dorks just like me. No one gives a shit about them. And they've got the scream gangbang story in their back pocket.
Great
anytime
story.
They want it.
Imagine if you had that today.
This teacher did them a solid. Really did.
I think so. I think so.
Heroes. Cheers to the heroes.
You should be a character witness for her.
I'd do great. I would. I could get teary-eyed in court and everything. Just like
I wish I had that kind of story.
That kind of support. And honestly, really leaning into these kids don't even understand at this young age the blessing that you've given them. That present will be opened 30 years from now on a softball field somewhere. When everyone thinks they're a joke, they'll be able to pull this out and live off it.
Yeah.
This
literally.
The Al Bundy that jumps up and talks about scoring 4 touchdowns in the state game.
Yeah.
This guy's like, hold my beer. Hold my beer. Because it's going to be hard to beat that.
Yeah.
So good on her. Yeah. Heroes.
Hey, everybody, like the show wherever you're watching it.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Subscribe. We've also got a super chat here.
Yeah, we need to do those. Smash the like button.
Ooh. Yes. Yep.
Super chat. $5. Thank you. John's gimpy Halloween hand. Love the new recording time. As a day one TDC listener, Amy is great too. Love that she knows sports. Would love to hear Kumi on TDC. I would too. I hope I can make that happen. I'm sure if I'm a big enough dick and push enough people that I know, I can make that happen. It's not in his. He's a very busy guy. He's the equivalent of Drew Lane, and getting Drew on is obviously easy enough. I don't have that kind of relationship with Anthony. But hopefully I should have made it happen a long time ago. But COVID happened, I was gone, and then it just kind of is what it is. Cause I had talked to Ann at one time, like, dude, I want to talk about your book and all these. Like, yeah, anytime. Yeah. So, hopefully we can pull that off. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much.
As do I.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Elon Musk and Tim Walz have been exchanging barbs. I find this utterly hilarious in its stupidity. Tim Walz, from the Harry Balls campaign.
Yes.
So during his speech in Wisconsin, Walz said he frequently checks. In fact, I think we've got the video. Checks his Tesla stock. See how it's doing to give me a little boost during the day.
On my phone. I don't know if you know this.
Do you want to pull that up, Ames? Do we have that one?
Stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, and take out. Just telling you.
Vandalize it. What an asshole.
Psychopath. Like
that is psychotic. You're right.
Like, presumably, Tim, your constituents have Tesla stock, and you're literally celebrating them losing their money.
Yeah.
You realize that, right? Like, it's not just Elon that owns Tesla stock.
Right. A lot of people do. A lot of people own Tesla stock. A lot of people are banking their future on it that got in early on Tesla stock, when a lot of people laughed at Elon Musk for thinking he could make a competitive electric vehicle and challenge the big three. Yep. They laughed at him when he said that. Just like NASA laughed at him when he said he was going to fucking go to Mars or get into the space game.
Yeah.
He saw bigger things and just did it. So laughing at an American company with American employees, and I don't know how many millions of Americans include Tesla in their 401ks, their portfolios in general. Yeah. That is so, it's sick. It's a mental, I just can't imagine behaving that way and wanting to be perceived as a leader on some level.
Right. Like, this isn't, it's just so narrow-minded to just think, oh, we're really hitting Elon by tanking his stock. Like, what?
Yeah,
How
you're hitting.
Stupid are you?
Yeah. And a lot of those were liberal people, leftists who supported early on. What's going on here is Tim Walz
They're buying the dip too, by the way.
Do we have they're buying what?
I said they're probably buying the dip in their stock too, because they know it's going to come back at some point.
The smart ones are. Yeah. The smart ones are going to ride this and realize. Do you have the Gavin Newsom clip?
Have they figured it out with him? Identity piece of
which I find.
of this is more important than
No,
the
you're good.
actual substance
Okay.
behind
Well,
it.
they've been doing it for decades. I mean, we've saw the welfare queens. They've seen the Southern strategy. We've seen it over and over. It's an old playbook, and we're as dumb as we want to be that we allow them to do this with CRT and ESG and DEI and every 3-letter word.
And then they demonize people.
Yeah, demonize and they weaponize grievance. They other people. They talk down to people, past people. They humiliate people. They weaponize difficult issues. But the bottom line is, and I think it goes back to what we began with, is, and I applaud you for this, is we cannot continue to be on the defense reacting to this. We've got to go on the offense. We got to meet people where they are. But I also think this, and this is where, this is part of the conversation I'm trying to have, is you got to respect people you disagree with, and you can't just dismiss people.
How do you fight it?
This
I
notion
think
of
I could kick most of their ass. I do think that if they wanted to. I know I can outrun them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
No,
counter
but
it with
it's a natural reaction. I think it's one of the reasons we're losing so many men. And again, it's multi-ethnic. It's not just white men. We're losing them. We're losing them to these guys online. We're losing them people that I'm bringing on this podcast as well. That's why I brought.
These are bad guys, though. These are bad guys.
But they exist, and we could deny they exist. They exist. Not only they exist, they persist, and they're actually influencing young kids every single day.
How do we push some of those guys back under a rock?
I think we have to first understand what their motivations are. I think we have to understand what they're actually doing. And
you don't
I think that's
it's
important.
racism and misogyny?
I think there's a lot of that, but I don't think it's exclusively that. When you talk to a guy like Steve Bannon, he talks about working folks, and he talks about how we hollowed out the industrial core of this country. I understand that. But we can dismiss the notion of election denialism. We could completely dismiss what he did on January 6th, but I don't think you can dismiss what he's saying. Reminds me a lot of what Bernie Sanders was saying. Reminds me a lot of what Democrats said 20, 30 years ago.
That guy was almost your freaking vice president.
Yeah, it's funny. Elon
Boy,
Musk.
did we dodge a bullet there.
He tweeted back when he made the comment about Tesla stock, because he's like, to give me a boost every day. I downloaded the Tesla stock app and watch it drop. And Elon tweeted back, to give me a little boost during the day. Sometimes when I need a little boost, I look at the J.D. Vance portrait in the White House and thank the Lord. What? Tim Walz is going to kick people's ass now? Smart.
Yeah, hey, Colonel Sanders, no the fuck you're not.
Yeah.
Okay? Anybody would take on that duel, okay? Including Donald Trump. And
including me. And I couldn't
literally anybody.
I couldn't beat up anybody.
Yeah.
That dude, are you kidding me, sir? And then to be like, I could kick all their ass, but I don't know if we want to be challenging WWE. Like what? A fucking scripted fight? What are you talking? Did you mean boxing match? Did you mean MMA?
Right.
You don't even know what battle sports you're talking about, sir. That one's scripted, where the outcome's already determined. The one you mentioned.
Yeah.
So what this tough guy is doing here, he's picking up on the way that the party turned on Chuck Schumer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's doing. So when it was like they've turned on Chuck Schumer, what is their bitch about Chuck Schumer? Well, they think he doesn't fight hard enough against Donald Trump. They want to just be a wall and stop the government and don't let anyone do anything. Who cares how the popular vote went?
There's no working across party lines.
No. We were right about everything. Obviously, the electors are the voters are just too stupid to know how stupid they are.
Yeah. Tim Walz wants to push us all back under a rock.
Yeah, under a rock. Charlie Kirk, really? Is it just racism and misogyny? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I don't know. I believed a lot of the bullshit about Steve Bannon for a long time. I'm ashamed to say. Mm-hmm. I listened to an interview with him recently, and I was really impressed with him. Doesn't mean I agree with everything. You know. But he
was a lot less gruffy than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be this gruffy kind of Alex Jonesy type almost, really brazen. But he just came off kind of sort of soft spoken and just communicated his position calmly,
Yeah. Yeah, a lot more substance there than I thought. I thought it was. I just had some, blown out media perception of like
Yeah.
mega,
Yeah.
kick them all out of the and those stories.
Nazi, white
Yeah.
supremacist.
Right. And when you hear his backstory and his career and where he came from, what he's done, it's really kind of impressive. So it's not a plug for Steve Bannon, but this idea of like, how do we get him back under the rock? Well, you don't, Tim.
Yeah.
And you can try, he can try all you want to like, guys like us, Gavin, just guys. It's like, no, you can't put a fruitcake like Tim Walz on the front line to be your guy.
Yeah. It's like when him and AOC did that video game stream or something, and they were watching, or no, they were playing Madden or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, saying like plays that aren't, it was just like,
the pick six
so
play.
Cringy. Yeah. It was so cringy.
It's real guys see right through Tampon Tim, if you will. Yeah. And it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. There's something so desperate in his need to play a man.
Yes.
Like it's cartoonish in nature. Like, hey, just me in a flannel and a camo hat working on an engine like the boys do.
Yeah.
And that's why there were so many like parodies of like gay guys doing the whole, men for, what was the Men for Kamala campaign or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like real guys are horrified by stuff like, what's your preferred pronoun? Like real guys are horrified by shit.
Yeah.
Real guys don't say words like manosphere. They don't. They like real guys don't say manosphere. They it's the kind of stuff that gay guys do in a drama class pretending to be men. Like, how do we pull this off and come off like men?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the longest time, I feel like real guys might spare your feelings. Real guys will let you rant about pointless, dumb shit like pronouns and not say anything like, whatever, it's no harm to me. It's not a threat. Like, do your thing. But the fact is, in real conversations with guys, that's not something that would ever be if you brought up manosphere while you're drinking with your boys, like they'd punch you in the mouth.
They would rip you so bad.
Like that's the reality.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
Like it's kind of like when you act like a drawing that your 4-year-old did and you're like, oh my God, it's super impressive.
Yeah.
It's like you don't really feel that way. It's kind of like placating like that. Like you just, you can't wait to throw it away and just be like, oh God, I can't wait till this thing grows up and really does real,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of like he's still in that place. Tim Walz talking shit about Elon Musk. Like, what do we know about Tim Walz? Okay. He got a DUI. Okay. Not the end of the world. A lot of us did. He visited China dozens of times. He lied about his military service, quit and refused to deploy with his unit. He's got a weird, eerie fascination with young men and boys that he was teaching. He lied about being a head coach and as opposed to an assistant coach. I'll never forget, he let his city burn under his watch during the Floyd riots. He started a gay club at his high school. Seems odd. Seems like
still in high school?
No, while he was the teacher there.
Oh, really?
While he was the teacher at his school, he started a gay club, it's a safe space and no one's going to bully them.
Interesting.
He's never built anything. So it's just this weird thing. And then you look at Elon Musk, Tesla, transformed Tesla from a niche electronic car startup into a global leader in sustainable transportation. Tesla launched the Model S, Model 3, Cybertruck, pushing the auto industry towards electrification. Market value soared, often surpassing the likes of Toyota, GM. Founded SpaceX with the wild goal of making humanity a multiplanetary species. Achievements include the Falcon 1, which is the first privately funded liquid-fueled rocket to reach orbit. Reusable Falcon 9 international space, the Falcon 9 rockets, the Starship program, SpaceX's Crew Dragon is is also made history by ferrying astronauts to the International Space Station, ending NASA's reliance on Russia. Started PayPal. Before it was PayPal, Musk co-founded X.com, which merged with Confinity, revolutionized online payments. His vision helped lay the groundwork for the e-commerce boom. He cashed out with about $180 million when eBay bought it in 2002, which funded his later ventures. The Boring Company, he's going to get the Boring Company. People that write that off are wrong. When you're talking about seeing a massive problem in traffic problems due to infrastructure, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to dig tunnels under the ground and clear up congestion issues. Mm-hmm. That will happen. Neuralink, brain-computer interface company, is pushing boundaries in neurotechnology, implanting chips in animals with human trials underway to potentially treat neurological conditions, even merge human cognition with AI. The plan is to help paralyzed people walk again. Yep. You know, my whole life, one of the biggest fears I had in my life was a tragic spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
Car accident on the sports field. I thought about it too much. About how how unbelievably awful that would be to be like, and it was just like, that's just you'll never walk again. It's like, never,
yeah.
Never, like, that's the guy that's like, we can deal with that. Starlink. It goes on and on. It's hilarious to me. These people that have turned on Elon.
So disingenuous.
Do you want to watch the Bill Burr clips?
Oh yeah. I was also going to say, that the impression I get from Tim Walz is, and a lot of Democrats do this, they think that what people like about Donald Trump, and this is true, is that he's brash and he says things that normal politicians wouldn't say. And, you know, people like the nicknames and like when he does that kind of stuff, which is true, but it's because he's genuine and funny when he says it. Tim Walz, when you're like, I could kick their ass, nobody fucking believes that. Like, no. You're coming off as cringy, not like Trump saying like, oh, I could kick your ass on the golf course. Like, hey, Biden, I'll challenge you to go. Like that. People don't find it's not genuine. That's what they're missing. They're missing being genuine, and they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to connect with anybody.
When he's trying to look like, badass, like, there's something so disingenuous. Like that guy, looking at him, looking at his frame, and I'm not making fun of it. I'm in no better position. But I would never be like, you got a problem with that? I'll kick your ass. Like,
yeah, right.
No, you wouldn't, dude. You look like you'd be gassed if you had to shovel the walkway in front of your house. Yeah. Gassed.
Yeah.
Is what you look like.
Which clip of Burr?
Okay. So Burr on the Tonight Show.
Well, it's a positive time, Jimmy.
Yeah. And I don't know where.
Yeah, it really is.
Billionaires are not happy having $1 billion. Why does Elon Musk dress like he just? Thank you. Oh my God. Why does Elon Musk dress like he just got out of a Hot Topic? I am so sick of that guy trying to rewrite his origin story like he was Matthew McConaughey pulling into the high school. It's like you were a nerd, nobody banged you, and now you have hair plugs and your laminated face. No, and everybody is afraid of these nerds. I don't get it. My whole life, feminists were focusing on frat boys and guys with their hats on backwards, and they left the nerds alone. And now look at them. What's a pot?
Who's?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Abe.
I was just going to say, like, he seems afraid of the nerds. He's saying, like, who's afraid? You're afraid of him. He's really bothering you, Bill Burr, for some reason. The nerd is bothering you, and I don't understand why.
I don't, it seems so, like, off target for Bill Burr. Like, it was very funny when I thought it was funny when he attacked the guy that started Apple.
Tim Cook, or
that died.
Not Tim Cook. Yeah.
It was like, I wanted to do this. I want the phone to have all the music in the world in it, and I need it done yesterday. And it's like, you didn't build anything. You didn't do anything. You just kind of slaved everybody into building it for you. And then you walk out here with your turtleneck like you're fucking Jesus. Like, there was something funny about it. Bill has a really interesting take on most topics. This just seems like, did he bang your wife or something? Like,
right. And like, also, one joke about Elon is fine. Like, it's funny. You know, you can make fun of Elon. Elon's not off limits. You know, nobody's off limits. You can make fun of the guy, but it just seems like Bill Burr is hyper focused on Elon for some reason. And he's making that his like persona. Like, I have to rip on Elon, where it's just like, okay, if you throw in a, you know, Steve Jobs joke every once in a while, it's fine. But if your whole identity is ripping on Steve Jobs, people are going to be like, why are you doing that? That's weird. Like, can you do something else? You know, we've heard the Elon jokes.
Do you see that? Do you have the one with I don't call him Charlemagne the God, Lenny McKelvey? He was on Lenny McKelvey's show.
Period. And then like
on
a few
Leonard's
years
show.
later, this guy Sieg Heil
Where
twice.
he's sitting on the couch.
Two of them.
Once in the front, if you missed it in the back, and it's just like he still has a job. That guy still has a job. Like I don't understand those guys. And this isn't politically. It's just like, I don't understand why they're so upset with this country. It's like you're billionaires.
No, not at all.
I think it's working for you. Like, you know, why are you going and telling everybody, you know, justify what you do? It's like, fucking justify what you do. That piece of shit car that you're making that the government financed. No?
But you know what you just said? You said that Elon still has a job. He's the richest man in the world. There's nothing they can do to him. And that's all he proved. There's nothing anybody can do to him by throwing up when he did that. What do you take from him? He's not Kyrie Irving. He's not Kanye. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but you keep, I don't know. Listen, I don't know how this shit works. I'm just saying that, you know, if you said the wrong thing as a comedian, all of a sudden you lost your TV
But
show.
you're not the richest man in the world. If you was the richest comedian in the world, ever.
What I don't get,
Imagine Bill Burr
what
with
I
how
don't
much
get
money.
is the amount of veterans that people in the armed services that died trying to stop Hitler. And then this guy comes in, you know, and does that. While being an immigrant too, which is kind of the whole thing. Just none of it like tracks how you can be the support the troops, you know, America love it or leave it, and then this guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler.
Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. So I don't know,
gave
but
a
then
shout
somehow
out to
that gets
Hitler?
like politicized.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I don't
trashing
remember that either.
Republicans. All Republicans did not Sieg Heil. That guy did, and I was just amazed.
No, you know
that
exactly
all
what you're
liberals
doing,
had was
Bill.
one day of outrage. And they're like, all right, I guess that didn't work. And then we just kind of move on.
Because they realize they can't do anything to him.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do other than send out some angry
Yeah. So
tweets?
what should we do, Bill? Should we get guns out and shoot him? Is that what you're saying? This is so.
Yeah. Why don't you go talk to him at the next Klan rally, Bill?
Yeah.
If he loves Hitler so much, you'll find him there.
This is like I'm being serious. This is like, you know, when you see those pictures people post and you've got a newborn baby and it just happens to be in a position where it's doing this, where it's flipping the bird.
Yeah.
And everyone finds it hilarious. This is like if Bill Burr went on tour and went on a publicity tour rant about how evil this baby, what an asshole this baby actually was. Like, it's settled. We all know. I mean, obviously, you saw it, right? You saw the baby.
Yeah.
Like,
put him in jail. Put him in jail now.
Why? I just can't wrap my head around how why would you even raise this asshole of a baby? Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's settled. We've all agreed as a country. Elon Musk was doing Hitler salutes, and he's obviously a huge fan of Hitler, and he's trying to help Trump become the next Hitler in this country, and we're sitting back idly while this takes place.
Yeah.
And Bill just can't wrap his fucking head around it.
Yeah. He's got some Elon derangement going on.
All I can hope is that, you know, Bill's new special dropped the other day on Hulu. And if you like Bill Burr, I'm sure you'll like it. If you're a lefty, you'll love it. It's fine. It's not as good as his first couple specials, but it's fine. And if you're looking for something to watch, it's fine. My only hope is like maybe he just thinks, okay, this is a way that people all over small, medium, and large podcasts are going to talk about my special. And as long as I'm being talked about, who cares? So if I just say outrageous shit on these shows it will generate eyeballs. My name will be, my Q rating will go up. And like, I would think he's better than that he doesn't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems so delusional and off mark. Like what his targets typically are very relatable in nature. He really went after, like stuff like, you don't get to fucking be a pig and then expect us to call you hot. What the fuck are you doing? You're a pig. Be a fucking pig.
Yeah.
Like go after gold diggers and go like he would take shots at the absurdity of life and it was great. Like this just seems weird.
And again, it's not that Elon is like, he can be made fun of. I mean,
of course
you are allowed to make fun of an immigrant billionaire who has now worked his way to top secret clearance in the government. And like, there are jokes there, no doubt about it. But there's this like weird underlying disdain and hatred that you can feel in his voice.
It's political.
And you're like,
it's
okay,
political.
this is more just a joke about Steve Jobs,
Yeah. It's political under the guise of being not political. Like it's 100% the Trump connection. Otherwise, he would have had these same bitches, 6 months ago when you didn't know what side Elon was on.
And let's not pretend like billionaires haven't run the country forever and ever.
Yeah.
This one is just out in front and they're being transparent about it.
And
the other ones from Raytheon, you don't see those ones. You don't see those billionaires. They're in the back.
Honest to God, his crime is literally, this has gotten so out of control. You all know it. You've all bitched about it forever. We're literally going to use the technology that we have to find waste, fraud, and abuse. And that's what we're going to root out of this shit. And to take issue with that, like, it was Kat. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Kat on Gutfeld said, she was great. The other night she said something like, this is like the girl who finds pictures proving in your boyfriend's phone or husband's phone proving that they're cheating on you, and then being like, you went through my fucking phone. That's the takeaway.
100%.
And let's not talk about what is being found, what we're doing about it. No. It's this. I can't believe the trust. The trust broken with. You went through my phone without my permission.
Right.
It really is like that. Like, do I expect you're going to find $2 trillion in shenanigans going on through NGOs, whether it's through the Pentagon or anywhere else, and think that you're not going to have some cases where it's like, okay, pulled the trigger a little fast on that one. Like, no, I don't expect perfection.
Yeah, right.
And
exactly.
Mindset of like, there's going to be some people that get blown out that you need to circle back on and right here and there. Like, we can figure that out. I don't expect
that happens in the real world too. By the way, a company will make mass cuts, and large swaths of people will get laid off, and then a few of those people will come back because we need a few of those positions. We didn't need all of them, but we laid off that whole department. But we got to bring a couple of them back, and people come back. Like, that is how the real world works.
Yeah, this idea too that Tesla's a garbage car. Well, Bill, your wife drives one. Okay, your wife has a Tesla. You were amazed. I saw the video of you sitting in a Tesla when you were just a celebrity, getting first peeks and blown away by what this car is. So you coming out now and being like, oh yeah, settled science. The Tesla is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you can take issue with Teslas. I don't expect Teslas to be perfect in every condition. Right. You know, if you're living in Boston and it's 113 below, it's 12 below, and there's an engine issue, like, I expect there's some there.
Or if salt water hits your engine, not good, or your not your engine, but whatever the fuck the Tesla has, like your battery, not great when the battery hits salt water. Not an ideal situation.
Okay, I got faith that they'll figure something out. Just like when they had trouble and it was like, this thing only goes 13 miles to a charge.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, now you can basically drive cross country with it. So, there's issues. This idea that Twitter's who is anyone even on there anymore? Like that shithole.
And they are they always say that on Twitter.
Right. They do it in their echo chamber, blue sky, hilarious. And then they immediately repost it where actual people are going to see it on Twitter.
I just wish Elon could call up Bill Burr and be like, hey, I got you a pass for the day. You've got top secret access. Come join me. And I'm about to show you what the fuck I see every single day.
Yeah.
And then when you leave here, you are going to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because 6 hours with me with unfettered access, you're going to be blown the fuck away by the shit that's going on in this government.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would think you would want to know that. I would think you would want to know
I
it.
want that pass.
Instead of just ripping a headline, and I'm seeing so many of these people like their whole goal is to just fuck over veterans. And you're like, okay, I know where you got that story. I know the headlines you're reading, but there's a lot more behind those stories about, trimming here and there. It's not as simple as that. And
Bill Elon's not making those decisions either, by the way.
Right. But Bill is getting dangerously close to, when he's making rants on a special, I think it's irresponsible of Hulu to put something out like that where it's like he's so frustrated that people haven't taken an AR-15 to a Klan rally. Like calling for violence, like what you're doing.
Maybe Hulu recognizes that there aren't Klan rallies.
Maybe. but the problem is they would consider this a Klan rally right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, our Project 2025 meetings would for sure qualify.
So hackers have now released the names of, they've got a website called DogeQuest. It's an interactive map showing the names, addresses, phone numbers, and emails of everyone who's bought a Tesla.
What?
Yeah. The DogeQuest also provides locations of every Tesla showroom, charging station, and the known residencies of Doge employees.
Yikes.
It even lists Kash Patel's home and uses a symbol of a Molotov cocktail as its cursor.
Shut it down.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the interactive map. I just held up a picture of it. The site's operators said they will remove identifying information about Tesla drivers if they provide proof that they've sold the vehicle.
Yeah.
Musk labeled it extreme domestic terrorism, encouraging destruction of Teslas throughout the country as extreme domestic terrorism. The website was cute. They said it neither endorses nor condemns any actions. If you're on the hunt for a Tesla to unleash your artistic flair with a spray can, just step outside. No map needed. It reads, at DogeQuest, we believe in empowering creative expressions of protest that you can execute from the comfort of your own home. Under the heading, I want my info removed. Absolutely. Just provide us proof that you sold your Tesla. Who do these fucking terrorists think they are?
That's
Seriously.
crazy. Yeah.
Like, what is the point? Can you give me a reasonable reason that you would need the names, addresses, emails, phone numbers of everybody that ever bought a Tesla out there publicly? Can you give me a good reason for that? And
get that information. Like what?
Yeah, they used AI of some sort. It's like an extreme version of the maps to stars homes.
Yeah.
And the more you think about it, it's like,
except they're public figures, and that's
I know,
kinda,
right. Right. And if you're doing Kash Patel, an argument can be made like people know, where the president lives and they know, but dude, you're talking about random people.
Yeah. You can't
all over the country. Like DogeQuest is the ultimate hub for enthusiasts. Anticipating that some might try to take us down, we've designed Dogequest to be super easy to mirror. It's just a simple HTML file, no backend or external services required. Simply save the page from your browser. I'd start arresting people right fucking now. I'm not kidding. Like, what is your goal here? Your goal is to encourage people to vandalize and destroy people that you disagree with politically. Like, that is the definition of a domestic terrorist, period. This guy's all up in arms today. Rick Wilson, with his article, Kill Tesla, Save the Country. Elon has a weak spot. Attack, with a picture of a burning Cybertruck. Jesus. And he's just got a 30-day ban on Twitter. And he's like, oh, free speech.
Yeah,
and so
that's not how that works, buddy.
He posted this on Blue Sky, this article, Substack, and on Blue Sky. So Rick Wilson is, I think, behind. He's a former one of these. I used to be a Republican, like that cunt Anna Navarro. Yeah. Part of the Lincoln Project or whatever.
Lincoln, yeah.
I think that's exactly where he's from. About. So I'm reading the comments on this and where these go. And I've always said I am an absolutist when it comes to free speech, right? The First Amendment to me is an absolutist thing, but the limitations are very clear about violence, calls to action. I don't know what this would be. If I'm being true to my words, this is what I'm talking about. It's this sort of stuff that you worry about, where you take mentally unstable people and you work them into a frenzy and you get what we're seeing all over the country, where this behavior, like people today, there's a video that came out, a guy spitting on a Tesla. One guy, they're keying them all over the country. They're being caught everywhere. It's going on everywhere, lighting them on fire, Molotov cocktail bombs, spray painting them, smashing windows. Like this is, of course, where it leads. Of course it does. You read the comments of these. This should be a wake-up call for Bezos, Zuckerberg, and other CEOs who are licking Trump's balls.
Jesus.
Let's do this Tesla takedown. Let's end his reign as the destroyer of. We have a starting point, at least. Hit the first down, so to speak. I'm not saying I hate Elon Musk, but I would unplug his life support in order to charge my phone. I'm all about efficiency. I'll do it even if my phone was on 100. Vandalism, imagine the increase in insurance rate. Vandalism, these are all different comments from different people. Vandalism usually is not insured. This will discourage buyers. In the States, it is under comprehensive coverage, but with a deductible and insurance rates here are partly based on loss expectations for a car make and model. So if an insurer is getting lots of claims for a vehicle, they can raise the rates for coverage on that vehicle. We need to put Nazi symbols next to the Tesla logos. Maybe firing tens of thousands of veterans on wholly made-up pretexts and then canceling all their mental health resources wasn't smart. Maybe not have the guy firing them being Nazi howdy-doody who calls them all lazy and whose wealth is based on vulnerable infrastructure. Do you remember when Elon made that statement about all veterans are lazy?
No.
I don't.
These people are so broken.
You forgot the bit about doing all this in a country with high gun ownership. Exactly. Surely a bunch of motivated, angry, unemployed veterans who have had basically 20 years of training by the world's most effective insurgencies won't be a concern. I'm betting there's some explosive experts amongst that lot too. The irony of red hats thinking they own violence is laughably pathetic. Every major revolution in the history of mankind has been a liberal one, and no one has ever gained rights by acting nice. So these people are just ginning themselves up over and over. By the way, I don't remember the Red Hats thinking they had an ownership on violence.
Yeah.
I missed that one too. Just a couple more. He used Tesla stock as collateral to buy and destroy Twitter. Now we can destroy both and then Starlink. That's how we save government money. Not just Tesla. You have to go after SpaceX and Twitter as well. protest sounds so 60s. The maggots are probably not moved by us protesting with something that doesn't make a lot of noise. It would be a shame if something horrible happened to these horrible people. Yep, downright shame.
Yeah, I don't know how you coexist with people like that. But people,
dude,
it's like, do people act like that in the real world though, or is it just on Blue Sky, whatever the fuck that creepy ass website is?
Normally, I would say they're all keyboard warriors, but the fact that they're doing this, behaving this way in the country,
taking it to the real world.
Yeah, they are taking it to the real world, and you know they've some of those comments, you know, invented stories out of whole cloth. It's what I notice about a lot of these people. It's like take something sort of like there is truth. Part of the government efficiency group is dealing with veterans affairs, and Trump at one point, first time around, took veterans claims from in the hundreds of thousands down to like 70,000, and he gutted a lot of the staff. And then when Biden came in, he increased the staff 15%, and now the claims are up in the hundreds of thousands. So when you have that many claims, you can't get to them. And so a lot of these veterans go without because they get there's stacks of claims and in the hundreds of thousands. And so Trump turned off that 15% and is trying to whittle that down so we can deal with the veterans that need help. There's partly that going on. So you twist that into he fired veterans and he fucking hates them and thinks they're lazy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could sort of. No, you can't. But if you want to believe the worst in no matter what, like that's how they're getting
nothing
there.
They ever do will. I mean, they like Trump said in his State of the Union or whatever. You know, he could cure cancer, and they would be mad at him for putting out of business, you know, cancer charities. So
it just you know, I think
like people aren't guaranteed a job. I know this is breaking fucking news, but you're not guaranteed a job in the government or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah.
You're just not. So yeah, sometimes people get laid off. That's life.
Well, these people are ginning each other up, and the Bill Burrs of the world are dancing dangerously close to incitement in my mind. And I, you know, like I said, absolutist on free speech, but what you're doing here is ginning up people that are already very mentally unstable and are inventing stories out of whole cloth about what's going on. And they're using that as justification to attack people, physically damage property, hurt people. There's no reason for that website to exist outside of encouraging people to attack people in your neighborhood, you know, key people like that. That's the goal. That's the whole point. And so I hope when you do find these people, I want them on the fucking nightly news. I want them all over social media. Oh, this guy thought it would be cute to go out and terrorize his community. He thought it'd be a good idea to Molotov cocktail. Good. He can think about it for the next 8 years.
Yeah.
I want everyone to know that, you know what, you can get as mad as you want, and you can hold up your little cute picket signs and wear your fucking pussy hats and act like a toddler all you want. But what you can't do is throw fucking Molotov cocktails into buildings.
Right.
It just doesn't, that's where I draw the line on that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this goes, but you know, I'm starting to lean that way too, Amy, where it's like, I don't know how you find common ground with a lot of these people. I don't know how you get to a place where it's like that's just what I always thought. Like, well, at the end of the day, there's, you know, rational thought takes over and, you know, we can come to a good place. But seeing the celebration of, you know, murdering CEOs in the streets or blowing up buildings in the name of what?
Yeah.
Like it
used to be Allah Akbar. Now it's Elon.
Yeah.
Speaking of being laid off.
Yeah.
Speaking of being laid off, Mike, you have any stories for me? Any good news?
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I was just
for
about
those who stuck around till the end.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I got on my Elon kick there and
okay.
set it aside. But yeah, Massachusetts State Police Colonel
Tell
Jeffrey
me more,
Noble.
Mike. Tell me more.
Yeah,
Massachusetts, you say?
So you're getting extra show here. I was literally about to wrap it up.
I know you
we'll
were.
get to it
I know
tomorrow.
you were.
Yeah,
I know.
I was. And so you can thank Amy for this.
Tell me more, Mike.
So Jeffrey Noble announced that he had accepted the MSP trial board's recommendation to terminate Michael Proctor's employment for failing to uphold agency standards, particularly regarding, I would say exclusively, regarding his conduct while as lead investigator in the Karen Reed case.
Ah, yes.
So,
Mr. Michael Proctor.
So who is he in the whole? He is the lead investigator on the murder case?
Yes. And he is the one who, he immediately, he knows the whole family of where the guy was found. He's a police officer with the brother of the homeowner. So just really like involved in that family. He is the one who was texting his friends about Karen Reed, saying he was looking for nudes in her phone, calling her.
I have some of them. Do you want to hear the exact one?
Yes.
Okay. So Karen Reed, blah, 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 mowed down. The thought was mowed down by Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, in January of 22, was never hotter than the bombshell text messages Proctor was forced to read in court during his time on the, what's that?
It was the best day in court. I was just sitting there with my popcorn like, tell me more.
She's a whack job expletive, bitch.
C-U-N-T.
Oh, cunt. He called it. He did. He dropped a
whack
C-bomb.
job. See you next Tuesday. And so what he said in court was a whack job. And then he tried to spell it out. And the judge goes, Mr. Proctor, are these your words? And he's like, yes, Your Honor. Say them. Judge
Beverly Cannon.
Yeah, Cannoni. She's also a see you next Tuesday, but
really?
I can say that because I'm not a cop. The judge is the worst. That was the one day where she was like, oh no, if those are your words, you're going to say them. You said them in your text, say them in court.
Yes. Read it the way he wrote it.
Yep.
So, yes, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent though. No ass.
Yeah. No ass.
Subsequent testimony revealed more texts. Proctor texted that he had found no nudes so far while searching her phone, which he said was an inappropriate joke. He said he was going through this retarded client's cell phone, a message that earned a like from Sergeant Yuri Buchanek.
Yes, you will find this funny, Mike. Turtle Boy, who hopefully we'll have on this show at some point.
Yeah.
He in his show would call Buchanek Trooper Bukaki.
Okay.
So one of the witnesses on the stand, she goes, I think it was Trooper Bukaki. And everybody in the chat online was like, oh no, she did not. Oh no. So it's Trooper
hilarious.
Bukaki now. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Let's see. Proctor's family sent a press release stating they are truly disappointed with the trial board's decision as it lacks precedent, wrongful termination, despite the Massachusetts State Police's dubious and relentless efforts to find more evidence against Michael Proctor on his phones, computers and cruiser data, the messages on his phone, blah, blah, blah. The messages prove one thing, and that Michael is human, not corrupt, not incompetent in his role as a homicide detective, and certainly not unfit to continue as a state trooper, but dishonorably discharged.
Bye, motherfucker. That is going to go over wonderful in the next trial, because in the first trial, he was still very much employed.
Saint-like.
He was an active trooper. They were calling him Trooper Proctor. The day that ended in a mistrial, he was put on administrative leave, and he's been going through this process. He has not been working since that trial, and now they fired him. And so now he's just Mr. Proctor. Dishonorably discharged trooper.
How do you
and for this case, it's not for your conduct on another case, it's for your conduct on this case. You got fired.
Yeah. They said there was a fourth thing that was
this was revealed, Mike, in trial, the drinking.
Yeah, he got shit. He was drinking and eating while eating dinner on duty, and then got into his cruiser and drove buzzed.
You know who he was with?
Who?
The homeowner's brother,
Yeah,
Kevin Albert. So the homeowner is Brian Albert, and that's where John O'Keefe's body was found. Kevin Albert is a cop. That incident, it was revealed in the Karen Reed trial. He admitted to it on the stand because Kevin Albert the next morning texted Proctor and goes, "Hey, I can't find my gun. Did I leave it in your cruiser last night? We just got way too wasted."
Wow.
And so that was revealed in trial. So yeah, that was another thing where they're like, "And you did this. You know." Yeah, it's fucked up.
This is a weird one in a way. That like the biggest fuck up in this case, in my opinion, and you obviously know way more than I do about it, is letting these guys investigate themselves. Like people have had problems with this sort of stuff. The Black community's talked about this forever. You know, who investigates the investigators? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that when you've got a dead cop on the lawn of a cop, and like to let that brotherhood handle that and not bring in immediately secure the scene and bring it, like you just can't have impartiality. So the Michael Proctor thing, like part of me goes, like, I know cops. I know a lot of guys that were cops. I know current cops, and they have some of the darkest senses of humor ever. It's why they like this show. Through the years, it doesn't like they some of them find some of the stuff they see and some of the stories they can tell about what they've seen leads to a coping mechanism with a lot of them that is pretty fucking dark. And so the idea that cops are not human and not capable of being like, I'm going through this cunt's phone, like they're not lost on me. They'd be like, hey, I haven't found any news yet. Like they do have some, like, I don't expect these guys to be perfect. It's just a tragedy that these would be the particular guys investigating this case that has gotten all this attention. So I'm kind of a cop having texts, in a regular case. My guess is these guys talk a lot of shit. There's a lot of men's men.
And honestly, like the texts are kind of like they're secondary. It just kind of shows what a shitty human he is. Yeah. But there's so many more. Like one of the reasons I think in his discharge that he was found guilty of is he was providing details of the case that weren't public, of suspects, what they were planning to do with Karen Reed, to his friends and family. And so it was like, that's just not how you conduct an investigation. And even his family said in that press release, they went through his phone and his computers and his cruisers, and they didn't find anything except on this case. And it's like, okay, so why did he act like that only on this case?
Yeah.
Why only on this case? If presumably, just kind of what you were saying, Mike, if this is just how cops act, don't you think he would have done this on every case?
No.
Why just this one did you pop off?
Because he's investigating his boys. He's investigating his buddies. Like that would be there's a no-win situation there. Like honest to God, if Officer Cracchioli, pulls me over, like I'd have to be a real dick to have him go, well, we're issuing a citation and throwing the book at him. Like
But Mike, he lied about even knowing these people.
Yeah.
He didn't say, I know them. So in their mind, he wasn't investigating his buddies because he didn't disclose that he was.
How do you not know that that's going to come out? Like that's the crazy part.
And I mean, Mike, in that group text where he called her a whack job, see you next Tuesday with his buddies, his friends were saying, wow, I bet Internal Affairs is really going to have a field day with this one, huh? I bet they're really looking to wrap this up quick. Another cop found dead on a cop's lawn. Like, yikes, that's a PR nightmare. Anybody with two eyes and one brain cell would realize that is a weird situation that needs to be looked into. And Michael Proctor was like, nope, it was Karen Reed and she's a whack job and we're going to lock her up and that's that. And, if you really believe, I always say this to the trolls on X, if you really believe Karen Reed is guilty, you have nobody to blame but Michael Proctor for how he investigated this. he didn't have any. Mike, they collected blood in red Solo cups. I think we talked about
because
this.
there was
red
snow,
Solo
right?
cups.
Was it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there was snow, but it's Boston. What the fuck? You've never had a crime scene in the snow before?
Right.
Really? Like, this isn't Hawaii and you had some random snowstorm. It's Boston. You don't know how to investigate in the cold? That's
the
cop,
fact that
by
they
the
had
way?
unsecured that scene after what, like an hour or something like that, hour, 2 hours, is just mind blowing. Like,
yeah,
it's remarkable. Like, cops laugh.
And somebody in the house Googled how long to die in the cold at 2:27 in the morning.
Yeah. And
Nope, but I didn't find
all
any
the butt
nudes in
dials,
Karen's
all
phone.
like all of it.
The butt dials, everyone getting rid of their phones.
These people too, like, it's one thing for the girl at 2:30 in the morning to Google something. Like, cops laugh at this, how stupid criminals are. Like, you Googled, how deep do I have to bury a body for it to never be found? Like, geez.
Right.
Like,
yeah, the non-cop did that, by the way, which makes sense. When the cops when Brian Albert got word of that, he was probably like, are you fucking kidding me? You Googled that at 2:27 in the morning? What are you thinking?
I would think a cop would be smart enough to, like, I don't even know how, like, I haven't found any nudes yet. Like, I could totally see one of them saying that at a party with a bunch of cops at a bar. Like, you're going through Reed's phone. I haven't found any nudes yet. Like, caught on a hot mic somewhere. Dude, you texted that?
To his supervisors, who responded to it.
Yeah, gave it like a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's what Bukkake did.
That's just, I mean, dude. So, well, at least he was blown out. This seems like a,
great news.
Yeah, you think this is a big deal?
It's a very big deal because they specifically say in there that his conduct in this specific case showed that he had bias, and it was like it was a very biased investigation. How do you, I mean, as a defense attorney in trial, they're going to be up there and be like, sir, do you have a job anymore? Oh, why'd you lose your job? Oh, because of your conduct in this case? Oh, tell me more. You know, like, how do you convict somebody when the lead investigator got fired for their conduct on the case?
That's so. Yeah, I'm shocked they're even retrying this.
I'm
like,
shocked.
seriously. The more I hear about it, the more details. It's like, I don't know, but then it's just,
that's what's weird about it, Mike, is like there's so many more levels to it in terms of like information that they've gotten from the feds of like colluding between the DA's office and all of these witnesses. It's just really disturbing. The level of corruption
isn't
in
it
that
weird?
town.
Isn't it weird how Drew sees it like different? Like, it's just, it just shows human behavior, because Drew is coming from a good place of like trusting that police are responsible and, you know, like getting them. And he's not wrong. Getting 12 people to keep quiet about something or whatever is like, it just doesn't happen. He's putting a lot of weight and a lot of stock in that.
Yeah.
And so, but it's just wild, because I'm reading the same stuff. I'm watching the videos you've sent me. I'm reading articles that you didn't send me. And I'm like, this seems pretty clear what happened here.
And even, you know what, I guess I don't believe this. I genuinely feel like she's factually innocent, but even if you could find a fact pattern where she did it, okay, fine. And I know Drew didn't want to get into the legalese. He just wants to know what happened. But Karen wants to get into the legalese. It's her life, right? I mean, she's on trial, and the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. And I just don't know how you get there. I mean, you can think she's guilty all you want, but when you see all the bullshit in this case, you're like, how could anyone ever say, I'm going to send her away for life?
Where does this trial stand right now? Is it about to?
So it's supposed to start April 1st, but she has a federal appeal happening right now.
Is there a chance that they'll
story.
Decide not to?
There's a chance that they push it back. There's a small chance they drop so they're charging her with second-degree murder, like intentionally doing it. They're also charging her with manslaughter. Possibility that they drop the murder charge because they have no intent, none whatsoever. Like, if anything, they could say it was an accident and she left him there, I guess. Yeah. But like, to say that she intentionally in front of another cop's home that was filled with people at a
And
party,
cops.
ran him down and left him there is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like nobody's gonna do
Yeah.
that.
Where is that?
So,
Where are you
yeah,
going to
there's
watch
a
that at?
chance
Is
that
it like, is Court TV still a thing? Are you watching it online?
Oh, yeah, but I've got my people that I watch. Like, there's like they call them law tubers, but they like talk about the law and they talk about court cases and stuff. So I generally watch it with like one of the law tubers, like Emily D. Baker. She's great. I watch it with her. I'll watch Turtle Boy, obviously, but they just put Turtle Boy on the witness list. The person did because they want to keep him out of the courtroom, keep him from covering the trial.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
another tactic.
Another
Well,
tactic.
we'll have to have him on, and
Yeah,
you
for
know, he'll
sure.
probably be busy when it's
Yeah.
going on, but if he wants to talk about it,
He almost got his bail revoked yesterday, Tuesday. Yeah,
he's on
yesterday.
bail
For witness intimidation
Oh, that's right.
for
Yeah.
these witnesses. It's crazy.
For trying to talk to him.
He got indicted, Mike, yesterday, and they tried to revoke his bail because Chris Albert, who is a brother of the homeowner, has a pizza shop in the downtown area. Turtle Boy was at another restaurant, walked by, and he just stood there and he stared in the window. And then he started like talking, like saying like, "Hey, Chris, I'm not trying to intimidate you. I'm just here to ask you some questions, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
They arrested him for that, for witness intimidation.
Dude, I don't understand it. He's a journalist.
Correct.
Like
Well,
that's
they refer
what
to him as a blogger.
Okay, sure.
Right.
Semantics.
Right.
But that's what they do. Like the idea, like anytime someone is a witness or whatever is walking through to a courtroom,
Yeah. People
are throwing questions at him, and like you could peg any sort of questioning as intimidation if you wanted.
Right.
Like,
I mean, you remember like that? Do you remember the Brian Laundrie in Florida when that Gabby Petito went missing and the reporters were like camped out on his parents' lawn for like a week until they were like finally like, "Where's Gabby Petito? Somebody answer this question." Or like Aaron Hernandez. And they were all parked outside of his house knowing he was about to get arrested. And they weren't arrested on witness intimidation. It's really crazy.
So what was it? Did they have a grand jury indict him on that? Is that how that went?
Grand jury indict him on witness intimidation.
That's nuts. And I'm shocked that they did over something like that.
Because the witness intimidation statute in Massachusetts is if you basically like if you hurt their feelings. If they feel like you are doing this to intimidate them, that's enough.
Yeah, I guess they I mean, that's the age-old joke in the law community. You can indict a ham sandwich. So I suppose if you put your case together,
they tried to indict. They took to the grand jury Karen Reed and Turtle Boy colluding, conspiracy to commit witness intimidation. They tried to get Karen Reed. They wanted her bail revoked during her last trial. Took it to a grand jury, basically saying she was telling Turtle Boy to intimidate these witnesses. And the grand jury did not provide. They provided a no true bill, which is very shocking because they will indict a ham sandwich. Right. They did not provide a true bill for that. So there's no evidence of any kind of like collusion of witness intimidation between Karen Reed and Turtle Boy. You know, he's just being a journalist.
Do you fear getting too deep on one side of this yourself? Like dismissing arguments on the other side that do you hold out the possibility of like maybe this bitch got into an argument with him and ran his ass over? Like,
no, there's zero possibility of that.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
His injuries and it's just,
those injuries are a problem.
0% chance that that's what happened. And when you get as deep into like, no, I give no credence to the other side. I think they're just as batshit crazy as liberals. Honest to God, they are like right up there with crazy ass liberals, the way that they think. People who think she's guilty.
It's going to make a great movie one day for sure.
Oh yeah.
It'll make
Phenomenal
great movie.
Yes.
You know, if you get the right director, writer.
Oh yeah.
That'll be crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, you're welcome for the extra show, people.
Yeah, you got an extra like half hour out of us. That's awesome.
I know.
We'll do a member show tomorrow. Patreon.com/TDC Podcast. Thank you to everyone that's a member. We'll have some fun then. And Ames, thank you so much. We'll see you guys all mañana. Have a great rest of the night.
See
I'm
ya.
going to go watch